Okay, hello, good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to welcome you here at the free Beetroot Academy event that is all about a career in UI UX design. How to tell if it's a good fit for you, how to choose wisely if this is a path you would like to pursue, if that's a career you would like to take for yourself and actually master it. My name is Veronica. I am a content creator and event manager at the Beetroot Academy, and I will take just a few moments at the beginning of the webinar to remind you of some organizational structure, maybe cover some issues like what is the duration of the webinar, etc. So let's start with the small check in the live chat. Could you please write, hey, hello, maybe some pluses, if you can see me well, if you can hear me well, just to check the connection. While I'm waiting for the responses, I will tell you a little bit about the structure. So mainly we will follow two parts. The first and the biggest of it will be the webinar itself, the topic actually presented by Nadiia, our dear speaker. And that will cover all about the UI UX, the peculiarities of the sphere, maybe the tips and tricks Nadiia can give you to determine if UI UX is a good fit for you. And then at the end, as you know, we have a separate Q&A session. And that's a great opportunity for you to ask anything, both from the professional speaker to give maybe advice and maybe a glimpse into the career, and also from the teacher of the next UI UX design group, who will guide you through the maybe teaching process, how to start, how to enroll, etc. I see some of the comments already, so connection's good. That's great. As for the duration of the webinar, I think we'll cover up to an hour. That can make a bigger, longer time if we have a lot of questions that we'll cover at the end. But please, no worries if maybe you will need to go at after an hour, because we'll have this webinar recorded and we'll send it to you via the email you left at the registration form. By the way, all of the questions you've written us beforehand, first of all, thank you so much. We all have them, and we also will cover them at the end of the webinar during the Q&A session. So please, no worries, we haven't forget about them. If you have any questions to our speaker, of course, the option is to write them in the live chat. You can write them right now when you have it, but we will go to them at the end of the webinar. So again, please, no worries, we won't miss them. However, if there are some pressing topics, for example, there is something with the connection, maybe you suddenly can't hear us, or, for example, we are using a term that you are not familiar with, you just don't get it, don't follow along, you can also ask that directly in the live chat, and we shall answer that on the way, at the same moment. So I think that's all on my part. Again, if any questions to me from the organizational part or to Nadiia, please write them in the live chat. And I think that's the time that I give you the word. So could you please present yourself and actually start telling us all about the UI UX design as a career? I will share the presentation.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm glad to see you today. So I am Nadiia Perehinska. I'm a senior product designer with over 6 years of experience in UI UX design, and I will be next teacher group in Beetroot Academy. So it's a little fact about me. I am a co-founder of BNT outsourcing agency. Also, I have bachelor degree in graphic design and 3 years of teaching experience in education center. Also, I had a lot of work experience in freelance outsourcing as well in the product companies and startups. So I could explain you the difference between them if it will be interesting for you. And then next slide, please. Okay, today we have a little agenda. So it's like our topic today. Let's discover what is UI UX design, what's the difference between UI and UX design. Yeah, what UX UI design typical task and goals, and how look like a typical day in UX UI design role. How to tell if design is your cup of tea. And today I will show you um, a few examples of my work and also one of example of work of my students of final project. So I so excited to be here with you and share a little part of my knowledges to you. Okay. Also, what you can expect today, yeah? It's a quick intro into the world of UI UX, real life example, how I thought, and a QA session where you can ask me all questions, and I'm absolutely happy to answer on them. Okay. Um, so we have here pictures of a cats, yeah, and please tell me which cat are you associate your mood today? Which cat is you? Because I'm feel today maybe like cat number 4 because I'm really excited and maybe a little nervous because it's a live streaming and it's okay. Yes, it's our first meeting with you, yeah, with future students, maybe, I hope. And what about you, Nika?
Well, I think we really represent the third picture of two cats, in two small windows, because though we are not like sitting in the same room, we're still connected. Thanks for the internet and for the technical advances. And we're talking about, I think, a very interesting topic of career in UI UX design, because I think it can be really hard to search for information, to make a decision if some kind of career or job is a good fit for you, and the opportunity you give us to talk to you, to ask you questions, and to give like this first-hand experience as a professional. I think that's really, really great, and so I'm really excited to sit here, and I'm really excited also to tell what of the cats we have here. So we have a few sevens cats in the box, really cute. We have a few ones which are like pumped up to know everything about UI UX design. So Nadia, be prepared to ask and answer some questions.
Okay.
And we also have the second one. I think this cat is really comfortable sitting and listening to an interesting topic. And I hope that these pretty good moods will be with you till the end of the webinar. By the way, I forgot to tell you, stay tuned to the end, till the very end of the webinar, to get some excited presents and maybe to become a cat number 7 with this fine hard box with some kind of a gift to you. So I think we can move on. So let's actually dive into some theory. Nadia, could you tell us, please, what is UI UX design and what is the difference? Because we have like this dual topic.
Okay, yeah, really. So interesting questions and interesting topic today. So the first thing you need to know about UX UI design, it's not only about how it's look, because it's always about how it's work. And also UI UX design includes two parts, UI and UX. So UI, it's user interface, and UX is user experience. So let's begin more deeply about UX. UX design involves creating the logic, convenience, and enhancement of the user interface experience. It's about determining which specific interface element are necessary for the users, the sequence in which they should be presented, where they should be located, and how they should be interact with the users. Of course, we can say that the good designers should always think about the convenience of interaction with the users. In the UX part, we always think about the users, who are they, explore their needs, pains, fears, and restrictions. We create a lot of UX artifacts. Don't be fair. I show you example a little later. UX artifacts can be such like user persona, empathy map, customer journey map. Please send a plus if you know something about UX artifacts. If no, it's also okay. So it's like a schematic representation of all gather user information. So maybe you have a question how we gather information about user, yeah? Uh, we have two types of research. It's quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative research includes survey, websites and app analytics, user testings. Qualitative research is so expensive, a lot of time, and more preferred. It's qualitative research. It's a DAS interview because it's more quickly and you can ask a user directly the questions and give the answers what you needed. Yeah, so we also can add here competitor analysis. And based on this data, we create information architecture, user flows. It means that we develop a structure with our website or with our apps. Yeah, and it's so important to match the user needs and goals because designer also always need to thinking about user needs and user goals. That is, we always think about the user interaction and user behavior. So also I want to recommend you maybe one book. It's Don Norman, Design of Everyday Things. Also you can write a reaction or just a plus on the chat if you know the normer or if you know something about that book, or maybe you already read that book. Yeah, this book is not about user interfaces or user interactions. It's about a mindset of designers. And I want to cite you one quote of this book. When you encounter problems with something, don't blame yourself. Blame the designer. So now you know who is responsible. Yeah, it's a joke. Not designer all the time, but the biggest part responsible on the designers. So, and let's speak about UI. It's more simple, I think, because UI, it's everything what you see every day when you picking up a smartphone or sitting from off the laptop screen or checking your smartwatch doing a workout. Yeah, you see the interfaces, you see colors, icons, buttons, fonts, essentially the composition. So it's the most different thing, but they are included in one profession, UX UI designer. And I think that it's no UI without UX and no UX without UI. So something like that. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, let's talk about typical tasks and goals. So here we have separate UX designers and UI designers, but usually it's one person. So when we are working like UX designers, what we do? We search for simple and convenient solution for website and application. But how we can search for that solution? We need know our target audience. We need to know our users. So for that, we can conduct user interview and user survey, user testing, and etc. So look for a way to make the user's path through the site application as easy and clear as possible. It's also about user testing, because how you can check it without user testing? If you just imagine something in your head, it's no, it's knows that it really is. So also work with the feelings that visual appearance of the site will evoke. Feelings is so important because every person feels something, and the good design maybe unfortunately, but it's invisible. So the good design always invisible. You just using your app or using web, and you are a pleasure of using. And for another side, if it is bad design or bad solution, it's always visible. So when we create a customer journey map, I will show you later how it's look. Maybe you know already. We have one columns for user feelings. Customer journey mapping, it's like a schema of user actions and user steps during the journey and during the use of website. So user feelings are important, and we try to notice them. And also evaluate whether the created projects is user-friendly, how we can evaluate it only by analytics. So if we have already product, we can see some metrics on analytics, and we can understand how it's successful or not. And also, what I want to say about that is that even if you don't have already a real product, you can test your prototype. You can test your wireframes when you just started your ideation, and implementing of solution. So it's all about UX designer. There are things about users' needs, and about users' behavior. And UI designers, it's another part of our work. So we select the colors and fonts, we create or choose icons, buttons, illustration, or other interface element. We design the interface and create the style and character of the interface. So everything what you can see, it's about user interface, and how it's work, it's about UX. So there are no is good UI without good UX, and no good UX without good UI. Okay, so maybe you have some question now. And next slide, please. So, it's a little hard question for me, because a day in the life of a UX UI designer, it's depends of many factors. So a typical day always start with the meeting with my team, with team of designers, and with project managers. So we discuss our plan, we discuss our result, what we have already, a result of our work, and after that we started work in real time. So first the discussion, yeah. Of course, every designer working in Figma. So it's the best instrument for designers. It's so simple, really simple. Maybe for starter designers, it's looking so hard, but I promise you, with me, it will be simple. Yeah, and visual design, thinking through the logic of application or websites. So Figma, it's really so good instrument to work with. And I want to say that your day can be different, depends on the company where you work. So on freelance, you will be have a 1 day plan. For startups, it will be looking another. And in the outsourcing company, when you have a lot of projects, is also look very different. Okay, but a very seamless steps we have here. It's working out customer requirements, clarifying and supplementing them, how we are working with customer requirements. So in every project, you have a stakeholders, and maybe sometimes you also can have a budget limited. So you need to understand what idea you can implement, and what idea we take to another time. Yeah. Communication. Here we have by email or phone, but usually we use a Slack. Maybe you know Slack. all IT companies use Slack every day. It's like a messenger with a team and project managers and developers. So it's also very important to communicate with developers. Not very often, but already needed. So communication with users about the convenience of the implement solutions, it's also very important part of our work, because when we're creating something, we need to understand how it suits with user needs and user failures, user frustrations and other things that user need. So conducting solution with customers, it's so important if you're working in outsourcing company, and you need to present all the time your solution, because it's not depends on only designers, it also depends of stakeholders, it will be or not, and searching for ideas to improve the customer's project. So when we gather all necessary information from the users, from user testing, we have some analytics, we ideate idea for our project, create prototypes, create a lot of wireframes, and build a best solution for our product. So something like that. Sometimes I have maybe a few calls of the project. Yeah, because sometimes you work not only on one project, you can work together with many projects, and it is okay for designers. But if you are uh, if you like work deeply on something, choose a product company. It's the best way, and I'm so enjoying when I'm working with products. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. How to tell if design is your cup of tea? Yeah, how you can understand it. So first of all, you need to allow to people, because daily communication with stakeholders, developer, project managers, project owners, CTO, CEO is so exhausted if you are introvert. Yeah, and also you speaking a lot with your users, you conduct in-depth interview, and it will be so important to be open mind and to be and loud people. So it's the first thing I think. And also it's about your interest in, if you like improve something or you noticed some problem with interfaces. I'm sure that every one of you one of the day had some problems with interfaces and with something. Yeah, and the exploration. You need to be focused on tasks that designers should be capable of solving, analyzing requirements and user behavior, completing a statics layout, presenting your ideas, and more and more. And now I want to show you a little part of my work and of my student work.
If you don't mind, may I interrupt you? We have a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of like product companies, and we have a question. What is it? And is it the same as the project?
Product company and project.
Yeah, like you mentioned products a lot of times. You mentioned product company. So could you explain what is a product, what you're referring to?
Okay, what the difference between outsourcing company and product company? So, every one of you use maybe Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. It's a product. It's a product that people using every day, and designers who work with that app working only with one app. So it's a product company. Another side. we have outsourcing company. Outsourcing company is different because there is a full stack company who take a project from clients. It can be a website, a nutrition app, maybe a fitness tracker app or something like that, but they not produced something by own, they just working for the clients. So it means that you're working every day with a lot of projects, not a lot of, maybe one, two, three, no more. Yeah, but it's another type of work. When you're working in a product company, you focused only on your product and you focused have to improve that product. You learn more about your users. You track behavior of the users, and it's so important to be focused on one project and when you have a lot of them. So it's the main difference. Also, what I can add to that. So I prefer a product company because it's more simple work for me. But for the start, if you're a beginner, it's a good experience when you're working in outsourcing company because you get a lot of experience. You're working with a lot with other stacks, and it's good for your experience, for your uh, for improving your skills like a designer.
Okay, thank you so much. So tell us, please, if that is the full answer. Is everything clear? And you, for now, while we're waiting, can show the projects you're working on. So I will stop the presentation.
Okay, yeah.
So you can take the lead.
Okay. 1 minute, please. Okay. So I want to share with you one of example of work our student on the course. It's the final project, and it's nutritional app for vegans and vegetarians. So how you can see, it's a presentation, but I will show you the detailed projects and wireframing and other all of these things. So the project goal, it's the app to provide vegan and vegetarians with accurate and reliable tools that need to confidently manage their diet, track calories, monitor the essential nutrients in their daily diet. So here you can see their key features and the design that student created. So how we say, we have here vitamin tracker, statistic and advice, neutrals values, and I want to say you that girl who created product come to the course with no experience in design and no experience in UX UI design also. So also we can see the dark theme here, useful articles, planner recipes. And the next step we can see here is design process. So here we used a typical double diamond design process. So usually we have a few types of them. The first of them is design thinking, and another is double diamond. Double diamond includes 4 parts: is discover, define, develop, and deliver. And Discover, we can see that we conduct survey, in-depth interview, UX persona, empathy maps, user story maps, and customer journey maps. On Define, competitor analytics, information architecture, and user flow. In Develop step, we have high fidelity wireframes, UI kit, and prototyping in Deliver. So we start to work with survey and in-depth interview. So you can see the quarter of users. Here we have a problem statement and problems and pain points of users. It's everything what you can get from survey and in-depth interview. And after that, you select goals and needs of users based on that information. So we can see user persona and empathy maps. What is user persona and empathy maps? It's like a portrait of your target audience. So we can see Anna here, what Anna saying, what Anna says, what she feels, and what she does. So also for the another persona and user story map. User story map, it's like activities, steps, and details. So we have activities like add a meal, and next we add steps, what they're acting, yeah? Select the right category, and details of this action is click on the add button and select a snack category. Product search is like a product search. Click on the search file, select the market created by me as needed, and select the desired position. So a customer journey map. Customer journey map is one of my favorite part of the work. And what is customer journey map? It's numbering of steps. So we have 4 steps here. Yeah, journey steps is evidence, consideration, acquisition, acquisition, I'm sorry, and services. So the first journey step is downloading the application. Also, sometimes we have a prehistory before that, how people understand that they need this application. Yeah. And after that, we see the goals and experience of the users, their feelings on this step, that we can see that confusion and inconvenience when using, pain points, it's difficult navigation or untouchable design or some problems that users faced when using app, and what user says. It's a quote. So also the next part is opportunities. Opportunities, how we can improve our product and what we can add to do it better and more convenient and more simple for use. So here we see various categories of dishes, energy value, recipes best calories count, meal type, methods, easy, on the go, few ingredients, baking, and etc. So we create customer journey map for every persona we had, because sometimes it's look very different. Competitive analysis, when we compare our competitors, and the red point means that it's so bad, or maybe it's notice. So we have some triggers. For example, nutrient tracking interface, yeah, endpoints, how it's working. We have problems and common features. Information architecture is so important step on our work, because on information architecture we create all structure of our web or website. So here we can see navbar and tabs, statistics, recipe, and what is included in recipes. It's search, filters, overview, favorite recipes, and recipe. So I not will be so detailed here. Yeah. Okay. Just give me know if you knew something about UX artifacts that I'm show you now, or it's so new for you. Also, user flow. User flow, it's looking like step by step what user can do during during the use. Home page, click on the menu, add button, choose launch, add products. Yeah. We have a question. Find a product in search engine, or yes, we're going to enter. If no, we need to scan the product barcode. So it's not about only interfaces. Yeah, it's not only about buttons. So the next step, when we gathering all information, we edit some ideas and we can implement wireframes without UI. All the time, we created just a structure. And also we add color palette with colors, typography, icon set, components, and dark theme. So you can see the design, so clear. And I show you how it's look like. So we have the first screen where you can see overview, user articles, and add new product like plan or activity or weight or snack. I select plan, choose a few meals. Yeah. Also, I choose meals what I want to include. It's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. 4 meals selected, and we select for one person. Create a plan generation. It's all about interactions, and you need to know how you can create prototypes. Yeah, in Figma. You can search, add a product here or meal in our case, and plan generation of meals for this week. Go to shopping list and select some ingredients that we already have. Yeah, finish creating plan a shopping list, and here we have all necessary information for our meals. So I want to show you one part of UI kit because a lot of designers don't understand how they need to create UI kit. What is that? So it's all necessary elements that you can reuse in your design. So let's start with typography. When we choose types and fonts, we need to choose right one, and also we have only a few size of the font we use. Colors. The same situation we have with colors, because you need to select just right one, not right one primary colors and additional colors, so when you will be used in your design. So what is the component and how you can reuse it and how it can be useful for you in your future work. I'm just selected one of them, and what I have here, it's a component. It means that that component include another component, and I can choose the right one I want to use. So that is means that you need just one element and you can change them for right element you need to use now. Okay, so we will be talking about more deeply in the course and just a little preview of designed work of Design UI Kit. So if you are interested in how it's looking like a real design project, it's something like that. Maybe it's like a little fear because it's a lot of screens here, yeah, but you need to be ready to be so to start it you work hard because sometimes it take a lot of time, but if you like to create something new you will be enjoyed, yeah, and it's look like a really
And I think it's worth mentioning that for now you are showing the Figma, the
yeah I'm
instrument
showing the
designers
Figma.
use the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah, of course. So we're creating all interface in Figma. We have a prototyping here, of course, interaction prototyping, how you so and everything is like that. Also, I will be show you a little tutorial with the grid because I know that we have one questions about grids and patterns. So I have some necessary useful information for you, and will take you a link for that file. Okay, so
By the
thank
way,
you.
for the links of the file, there was a question, could you please share some of these documents you were just mentioning, just showing? So I'm thinking mostly about the your student's project, because I think it's kind of free.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
with the permission of the student, I think we can add the link to the email.
yeah.
So everybody can just look and go through the example of the finished work. But remember, that's the final project, there is still a lot of more before that.
Yeah, of course. I will send you a link.
Okay, so for now, I think we can come back to the presentation. So again, I see all of the questions. Please, no worries. We will come back to them during the Q&A session. I see all of them. But actually, the important thing to talk about is also well, we have just shown you a bits and parts of, for example, Figma, the main instrument you could use. So we have shown and talked a lot about how you create prototypes and do some service. And while listening to all of that is great, the best way to actually choose wisely your profession is to at least try it. And I know it's not always the case. Yeah, you just don't come to, I don't know, an IT company and say, can I just click some buttons here? And that's an important part, yeah, to actually, how will you say, that this is your cup of tea if you hadn't actually tasted it? And at Beetroot Academy, we have created what we think can be a solution, because we offer a free online course for your introduction to the the most popular professions, and UI UX design is among them. So basically what you need to do is just to go to the beetrootacademy.com, and in the file courses, the first one actually is free introductory courses. So you can choose between front-end QA manual Python, project management, and of course, intro to UI UX design. The registration process is quite simple. So you just write your name, your email, and your phone, and you will be taken to a separate page. As you can see, you have here a small short course of like 5 lessons to get an acquaintance with the world of UI UX design. To be honest, it's a lot covered during this webinar, so you actually can go right into the practical lessons. What that means is that you have an actual task to try something to create in Figma. And please, no worries if you like, wow, I'm not a designer yet, how can I know what to do? We have prepared a detailed video instruction to follow to actually make your first prototype and mobile screens, and to try Figma, and to try for a little bit to become a UI UX designer, and to actually tell if this is something you enjoy, if this is something you would like to continue doing, and if this is something you would like to make a career of. Maybe at some point you will have a question, And we have also a free chat right here, so you can ask anything concerning the program, the task, the overall the course. And then only after you have tried it and you have determined if it's a right fit for you, you can then come back and, for example, go to the actual course, and to actually study the whole bit of it. So that as for the trying the profession for yourself, but another way to actually get acquainted with the field is through the stories of the same people as you, that is graduates who have just finished the course, who have searched for their first work as UI UX designers, maybe for the junior position or for the trainee. And for that, we have a separate blog on the website, which is called Success Stories, where you can read all of the stories from our graduates who are willing to share their path. And while they are a great source of inspiration, they also have some tips and tricks and advice. How can you enter the IT field, which you never known, with the tech field that you are just not familiar with? How can you find your first job? What are the tips in crafting the CV? Why should you have a LinkedIn profile, and so much more? And I think that is a valuable source, again, of advice and inspiration, because there are a lot of people who actually came to, for example, not on the design course. Design course is like the less tech of all of the IT, of the tech courses. But for example, for some development courses with no previous experience, and they mastered it and they found a job, which is, I think, a really great piece of information to know and to actually remember. As for the academy itself, because of course we are here on the basis of Beetroot Academy, I would like to tell you just a little bit about how we teach and what do we actually do. So we are a Ukrainian-Swedish company, and we are a school who actually teaches you how to master a tech profession and to find your first job. We have been working for more than 9 years, and today we have over 12,000 students who have trusted us and who have completed the courses. And today they work in more than 700 companies worldwide. We have the accreditation by Almega, which is stated, by the way, in the certification you will get at the end of the course. That is, we meet the Swedish standards for education of adults. And we offer quite a peculiar system of education, which differs a lot from what you can find on the market. First of all, we have live classes with the teacher. So, for example, if you enroll to the UI UX design course, to the next group, you will have live classes with Nadiia, who is our lovely speaker today, and you will be able to talk to her and to ask questions and to actually be mentored and guided through the whole process of learning. To prepare for the classes, you will have to master the theory, which you will have in a separate LMS, which is a learning material system, which will have all the videos, all the articles, all the theory just in one place, and you have the access to them forever. So you can end the course and maybe you will need to remember something. You can always go back and review that. Of course, you will have a separate bonuses, for example, like career coaching, which will help you to craft your CV and to write a presentable cover letter. We will help you to create a LinkedIn profile, to learn how to search for job offers, how to secure them. And you will also have a practical interviews to master the typical questions you may be asked, both for hard skills, for the knowledge of the field, and also for soft skills, which are also really important. You will have the course program crafted by senior experts that are no less than 5 years in the field, so you are sure that the knowledge you are gaining is on top, is hands-on, is actually what you need to become, for example, a junior designer. The classes are held in small groups, not more than 15 or maybe 18 people, which will still give you the live classmates to talk to and to share knowledges and to ask advice. But also, every one of you will have the opportunity to speak up, to ask questions, and of course, to share their projects and tasks and so on. And you will have a separate group coordinator. That is the person to ask anything about the studies, the maybe organizational process, the enrollment process, and so on. So the teacher will help you with everything concerning the material, and their group coordinator will tell you what to do, when to come, what to write, and so on and so forth. And I think here the time is for Nadiia to talk a little bit about the course itself. Nadiia, can you please present the UI UX course and share your teaching experience, first of all?
Okay. Yeah, of course. So during the course, you will be a really Figma professional, but I can promise it, but for only one reason, if you will be working every day a few hours, because it's so important. And on our course, we get all necessary knowledges for you. Also, you will be understand the principle of UX, identify user behavior, and conduct effectively research, create visually applying and user-friendly designs with appropriate colors and layouts. Design both a website and a mobile application showing case of your expertise across platform. And also I want to add it that on our course we have a three project. You will be have three educational case project in your portfolio after the course, and you can build a strong portfolio, of course. The project you personally created and learn how to create a CV and cover letter. So also a big part of my students get a job after not after in 4 months after the course, and it's I'm so proud of that. But it's really working, and you need to expect that it will be take a time. So something like that.
Yeah, and as we understand that looking for a job, especially in your new field, in something you have just like mastered, can be really tough. So I will take this opportunity and this webinar to present you also a new feature that we prepare especially for the UI UX design course, which is one-on-one career mentoring support sessions. What it is and how does it work? So as you can see on the scheme, during your last month of studies at the course at the Beetroot Academy, you unlock this support system from your personal career coach, who is a senior HR and recruiter from an international company. And during 6 months, you will have the opportunity to book 3 individual mentorship sessions. You can use them as you want and when you want. So, for example, you will use them during the last month of the studies, maybe somewhere in between, and let's say after 2 or 3 months, to just secure all of the knowledge. So you just take the 3 coaching sessions and you can book them at any time convenient for you and anytime you really need advice and personalized guidance from a senior recruiter. How to use them? These sessions will help you to get actual tips for you, for your experience, for your CV and resume. While we have the career coaching, which is far more like general, and you work with that on your own, and then you will get the responses and feedbacks from our recruiters. These career coaching sessions will not only tell you how to write a resume, but also will help you plan your career, for example, and review your interviews and give personalized feedback on, for example, how you are working, how you're searching, and so on and so forth. And of course, you can get and land with the job with the help of that session. If you have any additional questions for that, you can see the same information at the page of UI UX design course at the Beetroot Academy website. And for further details, you can always book a free call with our educational advisors who will tell you more on this feature and who will explain how it works, how can you use it. But I think it's a great addition for you when you are just this young junior specialist who is looking for a job, but can be a little bit insecure, maybe needs some advice and guidance, and that's a great opportunity to actually get it. And I think that's the time we all waited for, is the Q&A session. So guys, please, it's your ability and opportunity to ask anything you're interested in from our professional, from Nadiia, who is also, I remind you, the teacher of the next UI UX design group. So anything concerning maybe your self-education, the field of UI UX design, the career, you can ask anything. I already see we have a bunch of questions, which, like, thank you so much for being so active. But as I promised, we shall start with the questions that you have written beforehand. We have a bunch of them actually, and then we shall come to the live chat, so no worries. So some of the questions we had beforehand is, for example, how to build a UX portfolio with no work experience.
Yeah. So of course you can create UX portfolio with real work projects and experience, but if you have all necessary knowledges about competitor analysis, user persona, empathy mapping, customer journey map, and about design process, you can create UX case study. And the most important thing here is to choose the right topic of your web or app. And a large numbers of students with educational projects get a job, and it is possible really with no real work experience. And also you have opportunity to be trainee. It's not a junior designer, but because especially junior designer have some experience, and trainee it's like a position for people after courses.
Okay, thank you so much. Another question is about like maybe switching fields. I come from a marketing and e-commerce background. However, I've grown interest in pursuing a career in UI UX. Would you recommend mastering in this, considering my background? Would this major complement my bachelor's in any way? Or perhaps doing a course on this would be a better option?
So, master degrees will be a plus, of course, but it's not necessary and or required now. A lot of designers don't have special education in designs, and the main requirements is your skills, your hard and soft skills, and design courses is a better option to get it more quickly, how I think. And also it depends of you. You have a really great experience to continue working in design, and of course you can master it more deeply, but online courses is also a good variant, I think.
Okay, thank you. There was also a question, is the webinar going to cover the non-design UX careers, such as UX writing? So we haven't talked that much about, for example, UX writing. Maybe you can tell us about other specializations there are in the field of design and how can you master them?
Okay, so now today, how you saw, we didn't talking about UX writing because it's another specialization. It's a different specialization, and sometimes in small companies, designer can do work of UX writer, but usually it's another person is responsible for it. And if you wanted to be UX writer, I think you need a special courses in UX writing. So it's not our specialization.
I especially like the next question. It's kind of personal, but I think it's good to hear the answer. Does UI UX career feels gratifying to you?
Oh, absolutely, yes, I think. I wanted to be honest with you because when you're working with something more than 4 years, sometimes it can be exhausted, a little exhausted, really. But it's more about life work balance. And in my case, a lot of depends of company and depends of the team. Um, if the processes in the company are built correctly, so the work is really the pleasure when you don't have overtiming or something like that. And so it is so important to choose a company where you can feel comfortable.
Thank you. So another question is how to start the UI UX career when you have no experience and skills. Maybe you could recommend some resources, courses to look through, maybe some channels, articles, anything actually.
So, actually, yes. I can recommend you a free course from Beetroot Academy. It's a pretty small, but it's great to start with. Yeah, and also I know that Coursera maybe have a free courses for designers. Also, a lot of information you can search in the Google, and it's open. And also, I can recommend you articles from Nielsen Norman Group. So you can write it. Yeah, Nielsen Norman Group portal and Medium, where many practical designers write about design, and it will be so useful for you. Also, Figma also has tutorial and articles. So just search in Google Figma Education or Figma articles. You have a full instruction and tutorial how to use Figma, and you can starting with that. And also, I understand that it is quite difficult to start when information is not organized. Yeah, but structured lesson usually only in paid courses, but you can learn a lot of your own. But it's take a time, and it's more time than in courses. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. I agree, and I think it's kind of with any field, with any topic. Another question is about like choosing between UI and UX. So if you want to specialize on either UI or UX, since they are related but different, what would point to which is your personal fit? So how can you determine which is better for you?
Okay. Okay. Uh, it's quite common to find vacancies for UX designers, but very rare for the UI. For me, there's no UI without UX, and they always together. So also for me, there is nothing that I can do in UI, and I have a lot of skill in this. So UX is always more about researchers and ideation of new solution, and it is more interesting for me. So now you know a difference between UI and UX, and you can choose what is more interesting for you. But also, I want to say that how I thought we have a lot of vacancies of UX designers, but so very rare for UI. And always we have a UX UI designer together in one role.
Okay, thank you. And that's the question you have already mentioned to show a little bit. So where can I find guidelines regarding design systems and standard spacing or columns for both desktop, mobile, and tablet when creating a prototype in Figma? So it's the question related to the first job in UI UX.
Yeah, so I wanted to show you something because you can search, of course, some information in Google about a grid and columns, but I wanted to show you something, how you can create your personal grid and how you can work with that. So I show you my screen. 1 second, please. Okay, what do we have here? So we have a frame for desktop, for tablet, and for mobile. And what I want to show you, how to create it from zero. You can choose a frame. I'm choose a desktop. 1440. Yeah. And now I will be at a layout grid here. So you need to remember the one thing. It's so important, and the all developers will be love you. I promise. So you need to use a grid point, 8 or 4 grids. I will be explain why you need this. So 4 or 8 grid here. I select 8-point grid designed. It will be working for padding and for sizes of element in your design. Also, you need to create a columns. So usually we use 20 columns, 20 count for desktop, and I will be select center, because stretch we use usually only for tablets and for mobile, because content inside is so flexible. And for desktop we have just adding the free spaces, white spaces, if the device will be bigger. So I will add a center count, and here I have width. Okay, what you need to remember, we have 8-point grids. It means that all numbers and sizes in your design must be divisible by 4 or 8. And now I will be use 18 or 72 or 64. It means that I add 8 every time because I have 8-point grid. Or 80. Okay, so also I can change for 4 points. Okay, and the next step is the gutter. Gutter is spacing between columns. So in the gutter, you need to choose the right size. 20, not 20 not divisible by 4 or 8, and I need to use 24 or 16. So now I see how it's matched with my grid points. Yeah. And now when I will be add some elements in my design, it always be a perfect, because when you creating some elements, you also need to understand that we use a spacing by your 8-point grid. So it's working like that. I'm use a combination of case, option, and shift, and K down, and I have a step by 8 points. So it's not a requirement to have here some limited. You can choose the sizes what you want. You can choose 64, 72, 88, maybe gutter 16. You can choose it by yourself. And for tablet, what we have? For tablet, we don't have 20 columns. We have usually 8 or 6 columns, what we used. So I just create a duplicate and now add that from scratch. So I add grid 8 points and add a columns. I can choose stretch or center, yeah? So it's not so important, but I will be choose center. And here also I have the same way. So it can be 72, 80, or 64 with gutters. Of course, if we need organize our content, you need to select right paddings and number of count, it will be 8 and 72 or so the next we have a different situation with mobile, because when you select a mobile frame, you can see that we have a sizes like 375, and it's not developing at 8, yeah? So I choose one of them. It's for iPhone 14. And now add the layout grid. Usually we use just 2 columns. and it is a stretch. It always a stretch. I will explain why now. So we have a gutter between maybe 6 and margin 24 or 16, and here 8. Okay, now if I wanted to add some content, I add rectangle, yes, and duplicate them, one of them, and now I see that it's not working. Yeah, it's not match with my grid. How to do it correctly? We use after layout. It's okay if you don't know about after layout, but it's so important to flexible content inside our frame. So I create after layout, and now I fill the fill container. Inside of the layout, I use 8 points. And now everything what is really important, it's not a content inside, it's only external indents on the frame. So this padding need to be 16 or 8. Yeah, we have some rules. Maybe it's annoying sometimes, but it's so important for our developers. So, and now we have a constraints. What is constraints is the way how we can create flexible content. So you can see that content so flexible inside. Yeah, and when I will be choose the right size like 320, it will be working good. Wait. So like that. Yeah, and can change that for bigger devices, because we don't create a design for each devices. We just create one of them, but we worrying about flexible content inside. So something like that, and I will send you a link for this file so you can see how it's looking like inside and experiment something. Okay.
Thank you. That was such a great presentation, like a glimpse into a lesson on the grids. Okay, now we can finally move to the live chat. As I said, we have plenty of questions here. So, first of all, again, regarding recommendations, do you have any recommendation when it comes to learning more about fonts? Books, articles, maybe a channel?
Okay, about fonts, you can just search something like comparing fonts, because it's so important. And the most advice for you, it's use Google Fonts, because it's really great fonts that you ever can find. If you create a website, just go to Google Fonts and you can choose a lot of fonts. They will be work good, I promise you, in your interface, and you can choose the right one what you like. And also the next technical advice, it's that if you already know that we used 8 or 4-point grid, yeah, for our design, and our fonts also have some rules like a size of the fonts. So if you use fonts like maybe 16 numbers, you need we multiply the font by 1.5. So in internal Yash, so I can see you how it's look like. I'm sorry. 1 second. So if you add some information here. for example. So here we have a font. Yeah, it can be okay. San Francisco is okay, and I have a font size. Here it's 16 point. Yeah, and very important, use line H correctly. So you need to multiply your size of fonts on the 1.5. And after that, when you will be using after layout and create a right container for that, you will be see how it's matching with your grids. So you can see that I can do it more visible. This is a container and we have a perfect fit. So something like that. And about the fonts, we have you can choose a lot of them, but you need to worry about readable, and you need to understand the visual hierarchy, because we always use a big typography with more smaller. It's so important. You can choose, you can see it on the all interfaces. Okay. This is my answer.
Okay, thank you. We have kind of a similar questions that we already covered. So can you work with one thing only, for example, as a UI designer, or do you need to work with both UI and UX design? Do you think we need to stop on that, or we can move on?
Okay, could you please repeat the question? It's something with my internet connection.
Yeah, sure, of course. So the question is, can you work with on one thing only, for example, as UI designer, and do you need to work with both UI and UX?
So maybe 10 years ago, we just needed UI designers, and it was not a problem. But now, always we work with UI UX designers. You can be just one designers on all projects. It's a possible situation, but you can't work separate. It's possible, but we have separate designers only on very big company. So we can also have a position like UX researcher. It's people who create only research. Yeah, but usually it's also work together, UI and UX.
Okay, thank you. What about the average UI UX project? How long usually does it last?
Okay, it depends of the company, and it depends of the projects. It can be a small projects for 1 month, and but usually it's from 4 6 months to 1 year. If you are working in a product company, you all the time a few years you can be working on the one same project and create your product, and also implement a new solution, new ideas, new patterns, and do it more convenient for users.
Okay, thank you. The question about coding, does it help to know code like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, etc., for better designs?
It helps if you have some knowledges from coding. It's a big plus because it's requirement a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS. So, but it's not so important. I explain some limitation for the designers, what we can do in our design and what we can't do. So because sometimes we can't implement some ideas because it's so it's take a lot of time and take a lot of resources of our team. So it's a big plus if you have some knowledges.
Thank you. Another question is more on practical side. Is there a best practice on creating a color palette for a website, mobile app, something like that?
Yeah, it's the best practice is necessary and it's so important. I just wanna I show you a little more because I don't show you a work of my student. Here in UI Kit, we also have palette color. So it's so necessary to have one or a few oh my God, primary colors. Yeah. Also, you have neutral palette. All the time you use it for fonts or for design elements, and you have also a few additional colors for error warning and success state. It's also very useful when you're creating some tool types or some advices for users. Yeah. And also it can be secondary colors, but all the colors, how you can see, we add to our color styles. So we working with color styles and we not added another colors because when you add a new color, the developer need to add color to the code, and when you will be use all color what you want, it was so annoying and take a time of another specialist like a front-end developer.
That's good. While we're still here, there was a question,
Yeah.
what is the difference between a design kit and a design system?
Okay, so we really have a difference. UI kit we use when we have a smaller project. Usually, it's the case when you create the project after you get it to you bring it to your customers, and it's all. You done your work and you just create UI kit. So you create all necessary elements, color, typography, spacing, and it's all what you need. And when you creating design systems, it's for live project that's including new elements with all new implementation. So if you need to create a new function of or add some new elements, you added it to design system. So design system is more bigger than UI kit. It's all the time it's all the time develop all the time. You need you create and you added new elements, and this is the main difference. Also, you UI kit you have only in Figma. Design systems have a specific documentation, and there is not only in Figma, it can be it can be also a website with your design systems where developers have all this information, and also all elements what we have in design systems is coding now, and it's living a code. So it's no, it's not only about Figma.
Great, thank you. And the last question, do you know what the percentage of students that are getting a job in UI UX after, like in the 6 months after the course?
I think it depends of the group because I have different cases in my experience, but it's half pass. So it's help us of the group get a job after the courses. And it's always depends of the students because how I teacher, how I mentor, I can get all necessary information for you that you can use, but how you will be it used, it's not our responsibility, yeah. And everything depends of the students. If you want it and you're ready to work, I saw you have opportunity to get a job.
Yeah, so on average, through the all courses at the academy, we have the 70%. Just so 70% of students get actually job. Maybe not in like the strict 6 months. It kind of depends. The great part is as we have a pretty strong community, so the graduates can share a lot of different experience, and we have stories, for example, when one graduate get a job in a company and maybe they needed, let's say, a front-end developer, and our graduate came to the Beetroot Academy asking for a front-end graduate to give them a job. We have stories when teachers get some maybe job offers for their students. It all depends. It never the same. And again, I highly suggest you go into the success stories part of the blog to read all about, this different ways of how can a job find you actually, and how can you find a job. I think actually we have answered all of the questions. I really hope we managed that. I don't think we missed anything. So if we did, I'm so sorry, but I think we covered pretty much everything. So we have mentioned a lot of like additional articles and channels, and I think it will be best for us to make like a compilation of materials, and we'll add that to the email alongside with the presentation we used today, and of course with the recording. So if you missed a question or maybe a moment, or you would like to just come back to the information we have shared, you have this opportunity. And also the best part, so we still have a few people with us. Thank you so much for coming. And as I promised, to stay tuned till the very end. And we have a small gift, as I promised again. It's actually a code you can use while registering for the UI UX design course for either a 15% discount on the entire price of the course or 10% discount of each installment payment. That means that we want to offer you all support we can to actually master a great career, a great profession, to first of all make an informed decision about this career. That's why we offer you a free course, a free consultation with our educational advisors. That's why we are here today with Nadia, so you can get a real glimpse into that world. And if you actually decide to pursue a career, so it would be as close to you as possible. I really hope you enjoyed the webinar. I really hope it was helpful and interesting and engaging. For me, it definitely was. Thank you so much for coming here and spending this time with us. Now, just thank you so much for sharing all of the experiences, for answering all of the questions. That was a great evening for me, at least. And yeah, thank you so much again. And till the next time at the event at Beetroot Academy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for Unica.